I've just had enough of this, to be honest.
"280 conference delegates have filled the Swallow Royal. They're eager to get to their rooms. However, some of the previous night's guests haven't yet left.
Is the room ready yet for
What's the name of this?
It's Neverson.
No, just chat for you. Come on.
Ralph de Vila is the deputy general manager. Today, he's the boss.
We've just waited 40 minutes for a sandwich and haven't even got a room yet. And is this the one? That's the sandwich that we got.
Buttered both sides. Buttered both sides.
Baby hasn't got his yet. This is somebody else's. We could have gone in the kitchen and made it quicker ourselves, really.
We're trying to get 200 rooms ready. It's finding difficulty getting into them. So the maids have started at 7, some of them. And we've got about 20 rooms ready so far. So we've got a long way to go. So it's a bit of a headache this morning.
They've got certain rooms that have got Do Not Disturb written on them, and check-out time's midday, and they've left them alone. What they should have done is contacted the rooms politely just after midday and asked them, you know, some people might have forgotten they got the D&D on the door. So that's not helped in the slightest.
What names?
Rowena, who's in the office now? Yeah, everyone else has gone because we still have problems with these rooms. I don't care which section who's working on, but if one person needs to man up the office, do it, and everyone else should be out on the floors. Right, okay, well, do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. Well, the D&D after midday, we should have done that way before now. After checkout time as well? Who told you that? Well, I'll speak to Mrs. Sagar when she gets back, but if you've got those, do those first, Rena, please. Thanks, bye.
This one's got a Do Not Disturb on. It's housekeeping. Are you actually departing today? Hello, it's housekeeping. Are you actually departing today?
Yes, half an hour I'll be ready.
Right, OK then, thank you. These look like they're packed, so they could be going God knows where. This looks like a room that wasn't used at all last night, but they think someone's in here. So.
Yes?
Hello, it's only housekeeping. Are you actually checking out today? Or you are? At what time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. OK then, thank you. If someone comes in now, because we've already pre-allocated that room to that guest, they're going to be waiting for this guest to leave now. And the checkout time is actually 12 o'clock. I think a lot of people don't realise that, you know, 12 o'clock means 12 o'clock to us, and we want to get in and clean them. So, there we go. Really, in theory, they should get charged for it, but they won't. Which is a shame.
That's the tea, not yours.
Oh, not my sandwich.
No, tea.
Baby still hasn't got his sandwich.
The duty manager's doing it for you. He's on the case for you.
He's the one that butters them both sides.
Here we are, madam. I apologise for the use.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
No,
no day is ever the same. Every day is different. And it's, I get a buzz from that. And hotels, I like hotels because there's so many diverse things going on. You know, you've got like the banqueting, the kitchen, and there's the bar downstairs. There's always something, and there's always somebody saying, well, we didn't get this, or we didn't get this, or this went well. There's loads and loads going on. I've been here sort of 5 years. I came down from London. I was working in London, and the job came up. I came down, just had a look, and, well, it was just something else, you know, to see it coming, you know, being built and all the rest of it. And I'd always wanted to do an opening. You know, I'd always fancied having a go at an opening. And the opportunity to do an opening and for my first head chef's appointment, it was ideal. So I've been here since 5 years and seen a few faces come and go, to say the least. The most stressful part of this job, I would say, is the time factor. You know, we have like 3, sometimes 4 time schedules a day, and it's not like you can just say, oh, well, sorry, I'll do it tomorrow. You know, you can't do that with catering. I mean, 12 o'clock, 12:30 is looming, you know, and we've got to be on time. You know, everything has to be ready. So that's where the stress, I would say, comes into it in a big way in kitchens. You know, we get lunch out of the way, and then we're in for the next one. Frustrations within the kitchen, I suppose it's you can't be everywhere all the time. You know, there's sometimes things get done and they're not quite how you had the mind to doing them. Some of the younger boys in the kitchen, they won't read quite how you've got an idea. That can be a problem. But generally, we get in before any major things happen.
Jane Sagar is the executive housekeeper of the Swallow Royal.
Hi.
Hiya. You all right?
Suppose so.
Are you better than you were this morning?
Not really.
Oh, well, never mind.
She's been married to Philip for 22 years, but he's used to fighting her corner with him and often gets her own way.
Quick 10 minutes about the review, shall we?
Yeah, it'll have to be a quick 10 minutes as well.
Grab a pew.
All right.
So, do you want to think about the people on there who you'd like to give more than 2.5% to, basically?
Emily Grimes is gone. She's maternity leave.
Well, she's still in the book, so she hasn't gone.
She has gone, as far as I'm concerned, because we've not heard a dicky bird from her.
Yeah, but she hasn't gone as far as we're concerned legally because she's on the books for maternity, isn't she?
Yeah, but she's had it. It's past her time now.
Is it? Right.
Oh gosh, yes.
So in that case, she wants to come off.
Heather Carhill. She is not a chambermaid. She's a morning cleaner, and she should not be on £3.50 an hour. She should be on £3.25.
Well, it might be he's got that wrong. Which one's that? Which girl's that? Heather Carhill?
Yes.
Or Beverly Carhill?
No, Heather.
Are they related, those two, are they?
No. One, if you look at the spelling, it's Carhill and Cahill.
So, thank you, dear. Okay.
I'll bring you instructions, right?
See you later, all right?
All right.
Thanks. All right.
I've got to look at this because a lot of these are not right. And basically, I've got my ideas of how I want to, who I want to get the money in and who not.
You think you get your way in the end?
I did last year. If I've got valid points, yes, he'll take it, yes.
It's the first day at the hotel for a young trainee chef. First lesson is about life at the sharp end.
Paul, can you put on some plastic gloves and get some disinfectant? Welcome to the Swallow Hotel, Bristol. We've all done it, mate.
How did you actually do it?
I cut myself with a knife.
Yeah, I know that, but what was you doing? What was you doing there?
Cut some celery.
Some celery, all right then. Well, it was supposed to be a vegetarian soup today, but that might change by now. So what we're going to do is get it up to the hospital and they'll take you up there and bring you back, all right? We'll fill out a form, all right?
Did I do?
He didn't return.
I was mixing it in June. I won an award in June. I had to go to London and had lunch with Prince Philip at well, we had a lunch at the Connaught, but the actual presentation was at Buckingham Palace. So that was a bit of a day out. That was. I won it. It was through City and Guild, you know, sort of achievements to date, and you know what I've done with myself, and hopefully what I'm going to go on to do. And yeah, there was about 30, 35 other people. Who've got sort of bronze and silver, but there's only one gold medal given out each year. There's only 62 of them in the country. And I won the gold, right out of the blue, and it was a right day out.
It's an endless round of meals. Next on the day's agenda is the conference dinner.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you? Hello there. Nice to see you. All right? Right, Tony? All right? What time we kick off?
Michael's won many awards for himself, many awards for the brigade in the kitchen, many accolades for his team in the kitchen as well. And he is, without doubt, amongst his peers in the industry, a well-known character. That's received a lot of accolades and good PR for the hotel. And as you know, we were at Buckingham Palace in June this year, receiving the gold medal from Prince Philip for Michael, which I nominated him for. Really, there's more than just having success within the industry and in competition work.
Right, lads, you've got one duck. You got a duck?
We're extremely proud of his success and his motivation of young people. But being his first appointment, he found it very difficult to meet commercial targets and to manage the kitchen in its totality and to manage that £2.5 million turnover. When you're paying a man a very high salary, you have every right to expect that targets set are achieved, that the complaint ratio is in proportion to the size of the overall business. And these are areas that Michael's had problems with.
It's now Michael's turn to negotiate wages for his kitchen brigade. He isn't used to getting his own way.
October time again.
Yeah, it comes round quick.
Peer review.
Michael himself hasn't had a pay rise for 2.5 years.
Members of staff in the kitchen brigade who actually qualify for review now, all the rest are less than 3 months' service.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, they're not the boys that we've got in now. But you know, we've got a good set with those. They're pretty good, especially like Raymond Jones. Mm-hmm. He's a good lad. Although he's only been he's new, but
he'll get a review in March.
He's a good lad.
But you mustn't lose them either, you see, because you need to be aware of what you've got. And if the work, you've had problems over these up and down with Stuart, haven't we? But how's Giles working out?
Good. Yeah. Very, very good. Yeah, and all the boys, you know, are getting on well with him, so...
Actually, he's down there as Premier Chef de Cuisine, which is an unusual title. That's not what we've got, is it?
No.
It's just Chef de Cuisine, isn't it?
Chef de Cuisine, yeah.
We're not just going around doing anything.
Giles Stonehouse, recently arrived as head chef, echoes the management concern about cost control. Giles is number 2 to Michael.
We are here to make money. But food cost is the most important aspect. It really is. That, you know, if we don't achieve the food cost, we're going to have problems later on. We can't spend, the money on the equipment and all sorts of things. It's important that we achieve it. Ways that can affect food cost and ways that you can help to control it is wastage. That really is. If we buy something in and don't sell it because it goes in the bin, we have to get that money back 3 times over to achieve, what you've thrown away. And the other thing is, I'd ask you, is that without going over the top, to a little bit police what's going on. If you see a waiter going into the fridge to get something, then stop them and ask them, what it is they want, and have they got the transfer or a requisition.
The hotel has its share of curious events in the kitchen.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago now. Someone had their wedding up in the King Suite. They delivered the cake on the Friday night to ease the pressure a little bit. When they come in on Saturday morning, someone taking a wedge out of it. So it was not very good for that. It made the hotel look pretty bad. But so if, you know, if a situation arises again where someone has a cake or they want to leave something overnight, we can put it in there and lock it up without fear of it getting a old chunk taken out of it. I'll stash my sprouts in here. All right. Double security. I don't know any other keys for this fridge.
Can we go with 1 salmon and 1 stroganoff, 2 veg for Unilever, it's an extra 2 people, yeah? Right, you've got a piece of salmon up there and a stroggy. There's another guy just joined them. Well, I spoke to the boss just before he went on his break. It was all agreed who was going to get what. And they should, you know, sort of in their October wage packet, pick up their first little bit of bunts, you know. Right, next away, lads, will be 2 lamb, 6 salmon, 4 chicken, 1 duck, 1 stroggy. You know, I went through with myself, you know. And there's a lot of triggers in mine, I'm afraid, you know, quite a few triggers with like budgetary things, complaints, and all the rest of it. All you know, that'll govern whether or not I get my bonus at the end of the month. 3 chicken he's got, and that one hasn't been ready to go. A couple of periods down the line, if you know, if the complaints have, you know, some of the complaints have stopped and we're meeting targets, you know, then it gets put in, and only at that time does it go in. You've had all your teeth taken out, you say? Well, whatever you do, don't have any nutty crunch, all right? Give us a call tomorrow. See you later. Ta-ra. Leon's just been to the dentist and they've taken about 4 of his teeth out, so...
It's about the 3rd day on the trot now.
Yeah, so he's going to come. Yeah, he's going to have to come in with dentures tomorrow.
Right, I've got 4 veg coming, yeah, please. 3 chicken and a duck. 2 veg stroganoff salmon. Hello. Yeah, I need the stroganoff, please. Yeah, I need it now.
Michael knows why. In the past, he hasn't had a review. This time, I was giving him, if like, an incentive to actually realise he has to achieve his gross profits. He has, during my time, achieved a period of about 18 to 20 months of consistently achieving the targets. But once his number 2 went in the summer, it went off the rails again.
It's a little bit hard, and I said to him, you know, some of the local guys, that it's a bit of an uphill slog with them, and, you know, if they're not, only the slightest thing that they do wrong, and if I'm not, I can't be here 24 hours a day, and unfortunately some things do go wrong, and that gets then put into a letter, and that's it, there it goes. So it's hard, it's an hard bar. He's driving a hard bargain with me, but that's there it is.
It's a large business. You're bound to get problems and mistakes made, but not to the level that we probably have had in the last 12 months.
Well, so it just depends on what the business is like. You know, if we've got no real meaty business coming through, then it gets particularly difficult to do it. You know, because you've got to have stock holding and all the rest of it. But it's the sales, you see. If we have high sales in banqueting, that's where you get, you know, that's where life becomes a little bit easy. But if that plummets down a little bit, if the sales aren't there, then that's where it will go skewy.
Every chef in Swallow Hotels, other 34 hotels, have to meet their targets, and we're very generous. We don't want to discipline people quickly at all, but you know, you have to realise that there comes a time when you have to say to people, hey, look, fellow, this is now time to. We've given you allowance for the fact you've been short a few chefs. We've talked to you about how we can help you. We've looked at the menus, but if you don't make it happen yourself, we can't come in there and do it for you.
You know, there's been a few clashes, a few ups and downs, and at times I've felt like it's all down to you, my man. When, you know, it's not like that, it shouldn't be like that, it should be more of a team. You know, when there's all glory, everybody's there that comes out of the woodwork, and that's all right, that's when it suits. But when it's hitting the fan, as it were, you know, the old fingers soon sort of dig in one direction and one direction only.
Pressure of numbers forces the hotel to turn its lounge bar into an extra dining room.
it really does become a problem, we get 2 or 3 cars, then we get on the walkie-talkies. All right.
Okay, bye.
Let's see what's happening here. It's the bit that you don't tend to like too much. It's calm before the storm, you just want to get on with it, really. Should be down in a few minutes.
You have to be responsible for the operation. And at that time, from June to September, we actually probably lost about £46,000 of potential gross profit through not achieving our gross profit margins and making allowances for complaints.
By and large, our biggest complaint is vegetables. You know, it's the vegetables in the terrace restaurant. And like I say, it's very difficult when we've had this the buffet set up. All right, we've got rid of that now, but quite a few of the complaints gone through have been about, you know, the veg being a little bit on the crisp side, you know. But if you have vegetables that are overcooked, what I would deem as overcooked, and then you put them on a buffet, they get even worse, you know. And then we'd have complaints saying that veggie's all discoloured and mushy. So it's, you could never win.
What we did 2 years ago was bring a purpose-built carvery. It works very well for conference lunches and for breakfast and for when dinners need to be served quickly in a short space of time.
I didn't want the carvery, it's not my sort of thing I want to be doing, and we put it in, and more or less overnight we started getting problems straight away.
It's braised red cabbage.
Yeah.
Salmon.
Good.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Lamb.
Yeah. Salmon sweet.
There's only so much you can do with food. You can't keep turning it and turning it and turning it because it just ruins. When you're coming into a place like this, I don't think people want to, you know, wait and queue to have the, you know, that sort of food. I think, you know, if they come to a place like this, they want to be sat down and not waiting in a queue.
Our tenants will have the benefit of that, right?
The boys in the kitchen, I had a hell of a job on my hands, you know, saying, well, you know, it might be to help us out on service time, but it wasn't. It was, it didn't help out. It didn't help out. Plus, he'd had the carvery before at a couple of other places he'd been in, and, you know, that was probably in the late, you know, early 80s or something like that, when there was probably, you know, there was all the rage carveries, but how many places have run carveries nowadays?
Michael's received an inflammatory memo from the deputy manager, Raf de Vila, not his favourite colleague.
Right.
It's the last straw.
The letter here, actually, from a man. Chef, I was to say the least a little bit surprised to find out today that you are on loo days all this week, including the weekend. I cannot find a record of this time being authorised, but rather than going off half-cocked, as it is indeed has been actioned, and there is no record on file. Would you please confirm back to Simon Rawson, who authorised your time off? As you well know, we have had problems with this in the past, and on the last occasion you firmly accepted, well, any member of staff, but even more so, a senior member of staff must obtain proper authorisation and not just disappear, as you did to assure me that this would not happen again. Would you therefore, as requested, please verify how this time had been approved and authorised to Simon? It's just ridiculous, and this is left for all and sundry sort of to read on my desk. It's just, I've just had enough of this.
Chef Kit's decision will be revealed in next week's edition of